Before I talk about any AI tools that I'm using to help me with my day to day workflows, I want to talk about why I'm using them in the first place. I want to mention this because I've watched a ton of AI videos. I have been on YouTube, I've bought prompt engineering courses over the last 12 to 18 months to really learn more about AI and how to use it. And what I found is, first of all, there are loads of tools that are coming out all the time. You probably already know this. And a lot of it is confusing. It's like, well, what do I use next week, next month? There'll be a new thing, a new YouTuber telling you the next thing to use. And so I really been looking at content and how do I strip it back to what I really need? And from here, I started with what is the experience that I'm looking to create? Like, what is the foundational experience that I would like to create so that I can then do my work better when I use AI or any other smart tools? So I've got three things. I've got consistency, I've got clarity, and I've got peace. For me, those are the three things that are foundational for me and foundational that I want to experience every single day so that I am moving the goals and the outcomes that I'm looking to create. And when I say the goals and the outcomes that I'm looking to create, those are, they're bigger than the consistency and the peace and the clarity. Those are the three things that help me along, and the tools help me create those experiences. So when it comes to outcomes, it would be things like growing this YouTube channel, it would be some of the income goals that I have, it would be my fitness goals, my health goals, and my relationship goals. So when I'm thinking about it very in terms of very concrete outcomes that and a place and a vision that I want to get to by the end of the year that have all these different elements in it. However, I'm thinking about it in terms of every single day. How does AI and any other smart tool that I'm using add to that? So in summary, when I'm thinking about smart tools and AI tools that I want to integrate into my life, I'm thinking about it from with three things. First, clarity, because I just don't want everything in my head. I want to come to my days and I'm super clear on what it is that I want to do. I'm looking for peace because I want to enjoy my days. I want to be making decisions from a place where I'm responsive, not reactive, which is what I've done in the past. And I want to be consistent. Is it something that I can keep doing every single day? Because the goals and the things that I want to create this year, they're long term. They're things that I want to do and I want to keep doing for the rest of my life, just creating a strong foundation for them right now. For example, how I show up in my relationships, and also like YouTube. YouTube is a long play. Like it's gonna be months and sometimes years before I actually can experience like real compounding results, momentum that is just like completely life changing. So I've got to be in it for the long term. So consistency is a big one. One of the things that I needed to adopt was systems thinking, and so I really encourage you to explore what systems thinking is. There are a bunch of YouTube videos, and I can also link a book in the description below that you could have a look at. And all that means is I look at my life and I think, all right, if there are various things that are happening, right? Because when you look at a system, you're looking at there's some inputs, there are things that are coming into the system, they're going through a certain series of steps, and then there's something that is coming out. So I'm thinking about it in terms of, okay, so when it's something that is coming out, if I'm just overwhelmed, I'm exhausted every day, I don't have energy to work out, I don't have energy to eat well, then I've really moved away from, oh, there's something wrong with me, I just can't handle it, oh, I'm just an anxious person, I'm an overwhelmed person. I'm like, no, there's nothing wrong with me. There is something inside of my process, there's some things that are coming in, and the way I'm processing them in the middle that is creating this experience of overwhelm, that is creating this experience of I can't do it, I'm not consistent with my workouts, I'm not consistent with my diet, etc. Just to keep it like super simple. There may be other things I could be experiencing, like things like have too many things that I'm holding in my head, so I'm not able to creatively problem solve as I can. Like that ability is already living inside of me. It's just they're blockers, they're issues, there's some things that are not quite ordered in the correct way or sitting where they need to be for me to access that way of thinking. And another way you want to think about a system, you can think about it like in terms of a system for sales that a company might have. So they might just have a leads coming in, prospects that are coming in. So marketing is doing their thing, and then they come in. Maybe they find like a sales funnel or a page that gives them information, and they might have like a $27 product. And then from there, they have something else. Maybe they'll have another like a $97 product, and then after that, there's cash in the bank. So like, what is the process that this person is going through so that there could be cash in the bank for you as a business owner? And if you find there are like 100 people coming in as a lead for you, as a prospect, they're interested in what you want, but maybe it's only one buys, then you're not thinking, oh, there's something wrong with me. You're like, well, there's something that's wrong with the process. Why is only one person buying? Well, whatever I'm creating is attracting 100 of them. So you're going in and you're going to check which part of the process is breaking so that you could have 10 people buying, 20 people buying, 30 people buying. So that's the same thing. We're just looking at it through the lens of our own personal life, but it's exactly the same principle. So when I look at AI and I look at any smart tool that I use, and I am looking at it through the lens of those three experiences that I mentioned initially. So what does the smart tool on the AI need to do for me? It needs to reduce friction. It needs to get things out of my head, and it needs to be able to keep things moving when energy is low. And this is where the consistency and the momentum really comes in. So what I'm going to share with you next are the tools that I use so that I can remain inside of consistency, I can remain peaceful, and I can have clarity while I'm doing my work. So first of all, I'm going to talk about clarity. So when it comes to clarity, I just want to make sure that I have a mind that is not bogged down with a whole lot of information, and I'm creating ways to get my thoughts and what I'm thinking about out of my head. So one of those tools that I use is Whisper AI, because with Whisper AI, I don't have to be typing out my thoughts and what I want to say. I can just do that on the AI itself. I can just dictate it and it types it out for me. And our mouths move so much faster than our hands. So for there, I'm moving faster. It's something that I have to do every day, or I would be typing it out. This time I'm just speaking into the AI, into the tool. And then once I have spoken it out, I then take that structured thinking and I put it into ChatGPT. And sometimes I'll just speak into ChatGPT as well directly because it's got that voice function. So I'll use either or. It's just with Whisper AI, I can use it inside of a Google Doc. I can use it in spreadsheets. I can use it like everywhere. I can integrate it. But then obviously with ChatGPT, I have to go to ChatGPT and maybe copy and paste it somewhere else. So then we go into ChatGPT. So ChatGPT, I use it for researching my YouTube videos. So I use it on agent mode so that I can go research like different angles for my YouTube videos. And once I do that, I also use it as a first pass for scripting my YouTube videos. And so with that, I'm not just starting with a blank canvas for my YouTube videos. I have a draft script, but with the draft script, I'm obviously looking at it because there's some nuances based on experience. There's some things that ChatGPT hallucinates a little bit. There's some things that it makes up. And also ChatGPT is a little bit of a people pleaser sometimes. So it doesn't like really challenge my thinking sometimes in the way that I want it to. So I'm looking at it and really wanting to stress test my ideas in that way, but it's just so much easier when I'm not starting from a blank canvas. Then once the video is done, I have some various prompts that I use to create the description of the video when I'm uploading it onto YouTube. I'm also using it for SEO keywords. So I'm also searching like for the main keywords that would be inside of the video that I can put inside of YouTube. So those are two main other things that I use it for. And then once I'm done with that, and I have the transcript, I also use Claude. So Claude, sometimes I use it when I'm like, how can I explain some things in a way? Once I have my transcript, how can I explain some things that are more emotionally resonant, something that I feel sounds a little bit more like a human like me? How would I say it in conversation? So that's what I use Claude for. The other thing I use Claude for, this is when I have the transcript, is I use it to create slides. So I like having slides that I can use and include them inside of B-roll. And so my first pass is with Claude. And then once I do that, I put those slides into Canva as like a template. So then if I have any other videos or I have anything else, or maybe it's in the future, if I want to do a workshop or whatever, then I have those slides as templates that I can just save and keep over there. I believe you can also use Google Slides for the same thing. I just use Canva. If I want to change the design or anything like that, then I use it in there. And I also use ChatGPT once I have the design in Canva. I find that ChatGPT can give it a little bit of a graphic designer look that is not quite presentation slides. And also, I've not figured out how to use it in Canva. I am a Canva user for about a month now. And so I don't know how to make like really dope designs inside of Canva. So I take up an image of the slide and then I pretty much just tell ChatGPT to make it dope, and it does. So I also use that. And I just want you to know these are all things that I do like every single day in terms of researching my YouTube videos. That is inside of my workflow already. So I'm just using it to enhance what is already happening. I'm using it to just get to my goals and get to my outcomes faster. I decided to do a YouTube channel. I mean, something I've been wanting to do for 5 years. So this is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. It's just now we really have the tools that are really helping me elevate and making it so much easier. That's where I'm at right now with it. So eventually I know I want to get to the point where could I have a digital clone of myself once I've just figured out some of these foundational things that I use AI for my YouTube videos. Could I have a clone that does some of my YouTube videos and I just get really, really good at doing the transcripts? Maybe that's a thing, but that's further down the line. The other thing that I want to talk about is consistency. And with consistency, one of the biggest questions I'm asking myself right now is how do I make this as easy as possible for me to do all the time? And one of the biggest things that I've done is, I've talked about this in a previous video before, is Asana. So Asana is one of the smart tools that I'm using in terms of just, I have one place where all of my tasks live and I use it for my own things, my tasks, my projects, my goals for the year are all in there. And I'm thinking like, all right, what are the things that I need to do that are moving me towards my goal? And all of this lives in Asana. Also have someone who helps me just with my YouTube, like strategizing and things. We're in Asana together. I've got an editor who helps me with that. He's in there. I've got someone who supports me with the thumbnails. He's in there as well. And I know some people will be like, hey, do it yourself when you're starting a new channel. Don't do it by yourself. Edit everything yourself. Do the thumbnails on yourself, etc. However, what I've also learned is momentum is important. And for me right now, I'd rather put some resources and, maybe not spend on some other things, but have people who are supporting me because I am moving. I am getting the videos out. I do believe if I just had all of these things that I had to do myself, I wouldn't have as much momentum. And so that's a very conscious decision that I have made for myself. And what that means, for example, with using Asana, when all of our tasks are in one place, when we're discussing everything, all our projects and how they're moving, the progress in there, then what it means is that we're not spending that much time on calls and things. So maybe we have one call for half an hour once a week, which is what I do when it comes to YouTube. It's just one call for half an hour. Everything else that involves the tasks happen inside of Asana. And then the other thing is peace. Right? So how am I using these tools so that I can experience more peace in my life? So when it comes to peace, the tools that I'm using for that are, one of them is Fathom AI. So I use Fathom AI to record all of my calls. And when I'm recording the calls, any Zoom calls or Google Meet calls, you can ask your Fathom AI. It's free to join the call. Once it joins the call, you can then just have it record everything. So if there are any action items or anything like that, I can take the transcript of the calls. I can ask ChatGPT to give me all of the action items and what it believes I should do first, next, etc., how to prioritize. However, you don't have to do that. Fathom AI can also send you a summary of what the action items are, etc. Some of these functionality is paid, etc., but I just use the free version and I've never had to use the paid version. So that works perfect. The other thing is Loom. I absolutely love Loom. So Loom is like a screen recorder. So I just use it to record my screen. I use this all the time when I'm creating SOPs, and I use it all the time when I'm explaining something that I actually need like a spreadsheet and I want to show someone something, or someone just needs a visual of my screen. It's just so much easier than trying to explain it, or without getting on a call. Look at my screen, blah blah blah. So that's what I use Loom for, and I absolutely love it. And when it comes to SOPs, like, this just gives me so much peace because I know that someone else can do it. So for example, now I'm doing a lot of the videos and the optimizing. However, I am SOPing it and doing Loom videos for it. so that eventually, I would say in the next 2, 3 weeks, I can give that off to someone who can just help me do that, because it's really not something that I have to do all the time, especially once I've learned how to do it and what is important and what is not. All right. And then the other one is just Google Drive. So all of my things sit in Google Drive. So this is work, this is all of my SOPs, these are all of my documents and everything that are important to me. I scan them, I put them in there. So Google Drive, I can just access, I can reference the things that I need. All of that is in there. Okay, so the last thing that I use are bookmarks. And when I use bookmarks, what I'm doing is that I'm just making sure the things that I do regularly, I have all of the tabs that are saved in there. So for example, if I'm planning my week, I have all of the links that I usually use for that. If I'm planning the month, like I was doing last night, then I just make sure that I have all of the links that I use for that are in there. If I'm reviewing my finances, then I have that. I have all of the links that I use so that I'm not, consistently going out and looking for things. Remember, like, this is just reducing friction and using smart tools and using AI to support what you're already doing right now. Eventually, how I see that arc sort of shifting also a little bit, things that I could add further down the line could be things like, how could I use a tool that does timestamps for my YouTube videos, because I'm not doing that just yet. I just want to focus on the scripting and the videos and everything before I get to that point, which will be later on this month. As I mentioned, there's also like there are tools that you can use to clone yourself. So is there a reality in which I clone myself and I have some of my videos going out? Also, I'm gonna get to a point where I have enough videos. Typically, it's like the recommended, what I've heard is like 30 videos. Once I have 30 videos up, could start looking at the analytics, which ones work better, and then also crafting content that is in line with actually some data, so that I could just be making my channel and have my channel have like, the best content that I can possibly create. And analytics is a big part of that. Maybe it's where am I losing people? Where do I need to shift inside of the video, etc. So one of the tools I'm considering for that is something like vidIQ for that. However, for right now, those are further down the line. But remember, these are things that I will need so that I can get to my goals. They're all supporting where it is that I want to go. They're not just a random tool that I've brought in. And then also, as my workflows for this type of work start getting more complicated, I am going to be looking at any AI agents that I can actually create and build, because that's also something that I learned to do so that it can support my work. But when all of that comes in, I will be sharing it on here. So definitely be sure to subscribe.